So I need to figure out what clothes I'm gonna take. I'm probably in the same thing all the time because, yeah. I started packing my bag. I got my bike light. Bag. I'm typically not allowed to have the light on, so I'm gonna cut it on anyways. I feel so drained, like physically weak more than anything. I feel really nauseous. I don't know what I probably should wear. Leggings. Literally like physically ill, you know, and I don't understand why they don't talk about that. Like the stomach palpitations, the heart palpitations, the shaking, the throwing up. Like I ain't never talked about. I've never heard anybody talk about the physical aspects of trauma as you're living through trauma. They don't like, you know. Throw that away. These are actually clean. They just fell off the shelf. That's literally all I have. Is what you see up there and that. I guess I'm just gonna pick warm stuff. It sucks though because it's getting cold at night and I can't even begin to think, okay? I can't begin to think. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I'm just sick of knowing what's good for me and doing what's good for me and other people fucking that up for me, putting me back into a horrible fucking situation. I had a truck. Did you see how happy I was homeless, living out of my truck? Do you know why that is? Because I spent over 20 years trying to escape this fucking place. And then the internet got me fired from a job, got my truck repoed, got me locked up for crimes that I didn't commit twice, which forced me back into this fucking situation. I think that that's the point of this. I think that that's what God, you know, I'm asking myself today as I, you know, am on my 4th day of being completely triggered from sun up to fucking sundown and past. I'm on my 4th day of spiraling from CPTSD, of re-injuring my psyche, from putting myself back into a traumatic situation. Okay. I can't take it anymore, but also maybe, I don't know, maybe the past 4 days, maybe people can understand better why I was so happy living out of a car. I cannot put into words the type of psychological torture that I am subjected to in this place. I have 2 options. I can leave and take my chances out there in the cold fucking winter months and maybe survive, or I can stay here, get strung out on fucking drugs and die. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Because I made my choice 5 years ago when I got clean and left out this motherfucker. I sure did. I ran for the fucking hills. The first thing I did was leave when I got clean. I don't know what to do. I don't know about sleeping bags. So don't fucking start talk, please. I'm just ignoring that. I can't today. I don't know what people want from me. I have to act every day like life's all hunky fucking dory. Dory's Dory. And like, I honestly am at my wit's end. I've had the sheriff's department. I've had the people of this town. I've had every agency. Every sheriff agency in this town has tried to push me back into this situation. They don't want me in the streets because I'm fucking homeless. But, you know, when I was a child and I begged them to save me after a suicide attempt, I sure was, they drove me back here. There's a record of that down at the hospital. I told them, I said, I'm being sexually abused. I don't want to be here. I want to stand on my own 2 feet. I'm trying to get an education. I remember that. I was a child, teenager. And the damn cop said, you'll be better off over here, and drove me back here after they treated me at the hospital. You know, they have facilitated this shit for decades. And somehow I've done got wrapped up in it. And clearly, judging by the fact that I keep getting locked up for crimes I did not commit, it's not a far stretch to imagine that some people around here want me to shut the fuck up about the sex trafficking that happened in this county for decades. You know, if starving me out by getting me banned from the grocery store or Walmart or the fucking bank, homie, if that wasn't enough, it should have been, because let me just tell you, those were the only 2 places in this town I could buy food. There's nowhere else for me to buy food, which also puts me in a situation to have to come here and depend on the person that put me in this situation to start with. Crazy. It's crazy how you can view somebody as family and they view you as something completely separate. Codependency, debt bondage. Debt bondage specifically is a form of sex trafficking. So for those that don't understand, that's exactly the type of situation that I've been in for over 2 decades. So what will happen is a trafficker will come into your life. They'll offer to get you something, a car, something like that you probably need. But more often than not, it has a dual purpose. There's like, they're trying to rope you in. There's always a catch so that they can hold on to you, so that they have access to you, so that they can see you later. More often than not, it starts out as a car in these situations. And so the car will never be in the victim's name. It'll always be in the perpetrator's name, the sex trafficker, the pimp, the boyfriend. This type of debt bondage can happen in many forms. My specific type, though, is sex trafficking. So the victim will, of course, take this person, this adult who's usually 2 to 3 to 4 times older than the victim, statistically speaking. We're talking, like in my case, I was a juvenile and this man was almost 60. They will come in, they'll act like family, they'll get close to the victim, they'll offer to do something to the victim, and then they hold whatever they gave the victim over the victim's head as collateral for sex, or force that person into a sexual relationship. And this is when the drugs start. Yeah, let me tell you, is it just so happens, heroin makes you disassociate really good. Really good. So many victims get strung out on drugs to distance themselves from what is happening to them, but also to disassociate from the life that they are having to live to fucking survive. I am not a whore. I'm a monogamous woman. I don't give a crap what society tried to turn me into, tried to do. I don't give a fuck. I know who I am. And I'm not letting society tell me who the fuck I am. It's crazy to me how the victim is constantly blamed and pushed back into these types of situations. I finally had that truck in my name. Couldn't nobody take that shit from me but the repo man, because YouTube don't pay. How can I make a $700 truck payment with $400? Oh, thank you for the hearts, Kristen. How can I make it? It's impossible. It's impossible. You know, the fact is that these type of sexual predators, and it's sexual narcissism. He is a narcissist, 100%. There is no debate about that. Every single marker that you can fucking have. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Like, a lot of people think they've met a narcissist. No, you haven't. People think, oh, my boyfriend cheated on me. Oh, my girlfriend was texting some other guy. Oh, my girlfriend's in love with herself more than she listens to my needs. Oh, my boyfriend, I don't know. That's what main society tries to classify as narcissism nowadays. People will be disgruntled because their partner doesn't behave the way that they want them to behave, and so they say, oh, it's narcissism, blah, 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 blah. And I do think that narcissism is spreading like wildfire. Don't get me wrong. I do think that is a learned behavior. I think that you can teach your offspring to behave. I think how you raise a child dictates whether or not they come out narcissistic. Okay? So this is a whole nother level of narcissism. This is the type of sexual predator who truly believes in their head that, well, here, I don't know if I can say this on YouTube. Let's see. He once told me that his favorite escort to screw, she was his favorite because she liked to hit the crack pipe when he was hitting it from behind. That was his favorite escort. Does that give you insight into this person's head? And let me just be clear for the people in the back that don't understand this. She was hitting a crack pipe to disassociate from the abuse that her body was going through. I'm literally shaking right now. I can barely breathe. I'm like, literally, like, what do they call that? Stemming? Like, where you're like, it's PTSD. Welcome to the symptoms of PTSD. This is on another level. To position yourself in someone's life who is down on their luck, to play off of their hurt and their pain and their poverty, and then to make millions off of women at their lowest, and then to walk around as all of these women lay in the grave or in a state mental ward or in a rehab, if they're lucky. Most of them are dead. To walk around while these women lay in the grave acting like this was a good thing is so insane. It makes me sick. And I have tried to reason in my mind and talk to this person and try to figure out if the fact is this person imploded their entire marriage, their entire family over their own sexual perversion. Their children, their ex-wife are wholeheartedly aware of this perversion. They put their sexual gratification above family needs and wants, and this is on a whole nother level, y'all. So essentially, there's 2 houses on the property, as I've explained in videos when I left here 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. There's 2 houses, and down there, his ex-wife lives down there. And up here, he lives up here. Well, they have a weird relationship. She absolutely hates my guts, which is insane to me. You knew I was a child. I don't give a fuck if I was 20. Your husband was 50-something years old, 57, 58, 56. You're a nurse with children. And you watch your husband let women come and go, carry. He was carrying women to and from this fucking property with the intention of screwing them, getting them high on drugs so they can accept what's happening, of course, you know. And it's a party. You watch this from your porch. You watch this from your porch, and you hate those women instead of having a real discussion with the predator that you married. That's how they do things in this small town. They blame the victim over and over and over and over. Instead of being a rational, reasonable woman, you are a nurse, right? You're supposed to have high levels of compassion and empathy. instead of being a reasonable woman and trying to somehow be of service or have a heart, girl, you ain't got no heart. You a cold heart. Listen, let me tell you something. I'm about to vent right now. I'm about to say some shit I've been waiting to say for over 20-something years. This old, evil, corroded, hag-ass, leftist, liberal, self-hating bitch that lives down this road has hated on me for 20-something years when I was a teenager, when I was homeless, like literally with no one. You saw your husband help me and you didn't say shit. And not only did he help me, but he helped so many other women that you sat on your porch and watched. You knew he had an escort service. You knew what he was facilitating, what he was perpetrating. That was one of the things that led to you guys getting a divorce, other than your spending habit and your hoarding problem. Let me tell you something. Women. Let me tell you how we behave in this situation, because this bitch didn't get the memo down the road, so I would just want to clear this up so we don't never have to have this discussion again. If your man ever brings home a bunch of stray dogs that have, and listen, you know where I am, but your marriage, this is your marriage, so those would be strays. I'm not saying that because of their circumstances. I'm saying that because that's your marriage. Those are fleas. If your husband ever starts bringing home stray dogs, fleas, whatever, that's a hard stop. As a woman, we support other women. We don't turn a blind eye just so we can have a house to stay in because it's easy, because we don't want to pay rent and we don't want to be a big girl and we want to live off other people. Is this why I can't make it in the world? Because I'm not willing to turn a blind eye to the evils, the inconsistencies, the blatant sex trafficking? Is this why I can't make it? Is this why I'm not married? Because I won't allow my husband to open an escort service and harm women through sex trafficking? I mean, make it make sense. Sometimes I wonder. How dare you continuously harm a child? How dare you? You're just as bad as he is. You're like the Lane Maxwell to the Epstein, baby. You should be proud of yourself, bitch. It's like, damn. Honestly, that gives you more like notoriety than most people in this town. Most people in this town have never done shit but try to harm a homeless girl that doesn't do anything to anybody but try to escape a bad situation that this town actually put her in. You know, riddle me this, Batman, if they would have shut the operation down in the 80s or the 90s, he would have never met me. If he would have went to jail, he would have never met me. But no, his ex-wife is family with the sheriff's department here. And the plot thickens. I just found this out. Do you know, it's so crazy, because how long have I been saying that I felt like there was something going on there? I felt like, how does, in a small town of less than, right at 2,000 people, and back then it would have been less than 2,000 people, how does a town that small, how does the sheriff's department not know that there are at any given time between 10 to 30 women prostituting all over the place? How do they not know in a town that little? It never made sense to me. It's because they did know. They absolutely did know. And that's why 20 years, 30 years, I don't even know, after this situation started, when I tried to commit suicide in this house back in 2008 or 2009, that's why when they took me to the hospital and I told doctors and nurses what was happening to me, that's why they weren't shocked. Full circle moment, because they already fucking knew. You know how they knew? Because his ex-wife works at that hospital. Danbury, it's tiny, look it up. Right outside of Hanging Rock State Park, Stokes County. Tiny hospital. Just a few nurses and maybe one doctor. So I try to commit suicide. They rush me to the hospital, and they take me to the hospital where his wife at the time maybe worked. I don't know. I don't know when they got a divorce. I've never even had a conversation with this woman. I just know that she has impacted my life. Her actions have impacted my life. She has took food off my table. She's had me evicted off my own property. She's had money stolen from me. I don't even want to get, it's like there's always been this evil wench behind the scenes trying to harm me. It's crazy. I mean, so they took me to that hospital, and I told the hospital staff, I was like, listen, I was homeless. I've been living with him. This is not a good situation. Like my family raised me better than this. I don't know what to do. I'm being sexually abused. I literally want to die. At that point, I don't know if I was on drugs yet or not. I can't recall. That's why I would really like to look into these hospital records, which, by the way, might disappear because I've been talking too much. Shit has a tendency to disappear around here. Okay? That's all I'm saying. So, anyways, yeah, she worked there and she was working behind the scenes. And you know what they did? They put me in the car and they drove me back here. Yeah, they drove me back here. So, and how long ago was that? Well, in November, it'll be exactly 20-something years. I mean, it's crazy. 22? Like, I'm not 40 yet. Just to be clear. 37. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. All of it. All of it. And I am triggered by being here. I'm feeling better now that I'm like, I can get this off my chest. It's crazy to me how you would. So that's the thing. I guess they like got married, and then his addiction to porn, sex, prostitution, all of these horrible things, it spiraled and they separated. And then she lives in that house down there, and he's never requested for her to pay any bills or anything like that. And so I guess she's probably always seen me as a threat, even though I viewed him as family. Still do, like I said yesterday, which I've got to get out of my head. I've got, like I need to go like absolutely not. That is not my family. That has never been my fucking family, and I need to get that out of my fucking head. Codependency is so strong with this one. You hear me? It's not my family. People that love you will not hurt you. People that love you will not throw you out on the streets because you won't suck their dick. I'm sorry to be vulgar, but I need to be clear. People that love you will inspire you to be the best version of your fucking self. You know what that motherfucker has never done? Inspired me to do anything. Nothing. If I even speak of education, he'll have behavioral problems for 3 goddamn weeks. I'll be dealing with narcissistic personality disorder every hour on the hour for 3 weeks if I even mention going back to school. And I've had to drop out 3 times because of his actions. Directly. If you take my fucking car, whose fault is it if I can't get to school? And the fucked up part is along the way, I was making those car payments always. So here I am paying on a car and having somebody come take my car because I won't comply with their fucking demands. And I'm looking at them like family, and they looking at me like a goddamn snack. I literally, maybe I wasn't clear enough last year or when I first started this channel and I was going through my major CPTSD. I was actually diagnosed with CPTSD in 2023. The event that caused my complex post-traumatic stress disorder was actually the event of being kicked out of this house, which I gave him money for. Don't get me started. We're going to have a lot of full circle moments. It might take 20, 30 years, but just hold on. That caused my CPTSD because I had already been so victimized, having to play these mental gymnastics, these mental hoops, jump through his hoops, play his games, understand his feelings when he doesn't even give a fuck about mine, respect his time when he doesn't give a fuck about mine, respect his money when he takes all of mine. This is what narcissists do. They literally drain the fucking victim till the victim doesn't even want to survive anymore. And they thrive on it. That's what a narcissist is. Narcissists thrive on pain. When they're disgruntled, they want to hurt you, and they actually get pleasure out of it. And all of these events over the past 20 something years, it's impacted my psyche so much. And between that and the drugs that I had to do to deal with all of this shit, I wanted to die. When I was on heroin, I wanted to die. There were days that I was trying to die, and I would get mad if I'd wake up and not be dead. After impact to psyche, after impact. Let's say it started when I was 18, okay? Then another event at 22, then another event at 27, then another event at 30, and then another event at 32, and then, hello, Brooke hits YouTube. She's living out of a car. She just got kicked off her own property and was a victim of sex trafficking in 2023. That creates CPTSD. To be around someone like this that does not care about your well-being. Coming back into this environment is the worst thing that you can do for yourself. People, places, and things. I'm exhausted. I feel like I have bent over backwards trying to implement little changes to ease the blunt of the hit, you know. I've been changing myself to accommodate a man who has millions of dollars, multiple properties, no responsibilities at this point. I've been changing my schedule. I'm not making money. I'm not focusing on my channel. Look at me. I don't even know when I showered last. I don't even know when I ate last. I barely slept last night. This has been going on for weeks, and I've really just kept my mouth shut about it, and I've just held it in. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I bought that fucking 12-pack of beer, and I didn't even think twice about it. It's not that it was a problem, but it is a problem. It is a problem. That's a sign. That's a symptom. That's a red flag. I quit drinking months ago. Last year, actually. I don't have a problem with alcohol. I don't even reach for alcohol because I'm always reaching for my weights. But being in this environment, I done drank a 12-pack in 3 days and didn't even blink an eye, homie. Talking about, damn, I need to go to the liquor store. That beer didn't even... That beer ain't worth a shit. I need something stronger. That's this environment. That's people, places, and things. And that's how drugs, hard drugs, alcohol creeps back up in your life. Me simply being in this environment that has caused so much damage, so much detriment to me. I grew up here. This is the home that raised me. I was a child when I came here. And I really viewed this person as my family, but that is not my fucking family. The reason my life looks like this is because I would never conform or comply to a sexual predator. I do believe that this person has been in love with me and loves me, and it's unhealthy. I viewed this person as family, even though they were sexually abusing me. I grew up with every father figure I ever had sexually abusing me, and this is how victims are coerced and groomed. My sexual molestation as a child got me groomed for him as an adult. That's how these things work. He has stolen every bit of happiness that I have ever had. He suffocates the happiness, the joy from my future. Like, I can't even envision a future when I'm around this person because all I can see is all of the trauma he has put me through. I see red. I have a visceral reaction to being here, and clearly with me falling back into drinking and poor working out, eating, I'm not even eating. Y'all know how I am about my food. Like, it's imperative to mental health. I cannot be here, and I don't know what to do. And it sucks. It really sucks. I really thought that I could push through it, that I wouldn't have to see him, that I could isolate, and it's not the case. not the case. The more I try to go live my own life and work, absolutely not, you know, and I cannot allow anyone to steal not only my future, but other people I love's future. This is fucking ridiculous. That not only the sheriff's department sat here for 20, 30 years knowing what was happening here and essentially, in my opinion, facilitated it, but the whole community was aware. The whole community was aware. And no one even batted an eye. And they still don't. They still don't. The way the community feels about it is that those hookers wanted to do drugs and wanted to be prostitutes. Don't get me started. You know how I feel. You know what the stats are. You know what the truth is. No person that's ever ended up in sex work planned to end up in sex work. It's like drug addicts don't plan to end up being drug addicts. The stats show that most women who end up in sex work were actually victims of sex crimes as children. There's a pattern here. There's a pattern. Just so happens I'm into those. Between the foster care system and my abusive upbringing, there was only one place for me to end up: sex work and homeless. Statistically speaking. Fact check me. And then if you add in the added bonus of this technically being a domestic violence situation, that's why I'm homeless. 65% of women are homeless because of domestic violence. Sucks, y'all. I mean, what other path would I go down? Where else was I going to end up? Started off in the foster care system. I actually started off getting abused by my parents, and then passed off to the foster care system, then passed around the foster care system, then raised by the Department of Corrections as a juvenile for 2 years. Then I was a runaway for like a year. Then I ended up here. That's the series of events. And I've been here since I was for 20 some years. A juvenile. You know, that's another thing. He tries to talk about specifics. And as a victim, narcissists will do this to gaslight you and try to brainwash you into something else. I don't give a fuck. You know, most of those women that I watched get trafficked out this driveway, let me just be clear. Debt bondage is trafficking, okay? I don't care if they're willing to do it. Most of the women that I watched, they grew up not only poor, but getting victimized by their own family, which conditions and grooms the child into accepting and thinking that it is normal. None of them wanted to be prostitutes. They were doing it as a means. Matter of fact, I remember one woman who actually had a son that she supported, and, you know, she was a good mom. This is not anybody that says that prostitution should be legal. It's the oldest profession in the world. You're crazy. This is one of the most detrimental, harmful, generational, like it impacts multiple generations. These types of sex crimes impact so many people, specifically children. Okay? So I just think that it's so ignorant to think, you know, going back to the Bonnie Blue and the Lily Phillips thing, it's because of people like that society thinks that these girls want to do this. When you got the damn spawn of Satan, the soulless Bonnie, telling people, oh, I want to screw 1,000 people. Then you got the younger generation and other generations thinking that women want to be desecrated and treated like fucking whores, and that is not the case. Any girl that wants to be degraded like that is a soulless succubus. You better stay away from her. That ain't no woman that's a good woman. Society has got shit so backwards, and because of that, sex crimes are getting worse. Victims like myself have no space to talk about these things, because then everything is, I'm sure that comment section is wild. That's why I'm staying out of it, because I ain't trying to fight today. I'm over here fighting demons off my fucking back as it is. Society has got this twisted sense because of pornography and sex work that these women want to be involved in this shit. It's not true. It's not true at all. Do I need to expose this shit? Do I need to go to all my old girlfriends at all the old strip clubs and sit down with them? Because I will. I'm sure there's a few that would love to tell their stories. Probably has never even shared what they've been through. They're constantly being a rock for other people. Ask me how I know. I'm being for real. It's really disturbing how all of this sex stuff in the world is now seeping out into society, being twisted, you know. And I always say they don't know what's right. They don't know what's wrong. I know what's right. I know what's right. This shit ain't right. This is codependency, gift wrapped as help. This is a trap. I know what this is. I've been down this road for 20-something years. I don't give a fuck, you know? Like, I know what this is. I should not be having these physical fucking symptoms from simply being here. I mean, the anxiety. As soon as I know that he's going to be pulling in, I can just feel it on my back. It's like a monkey on my fucking back. It's the anxiety. It's like impending doom of having to see his face and fucking deal with it. Like, that's not a loving family situation, homie. It's a fucking victim getting triggered. I've been so on edge. I literally was trying to paint that building and fight through it, but you know, the lack of respect, and that's what I'm saying. He'll never be respectful. He doesn't even respect his fucking self. He didn't even respect his family. He imploded his whole family to go have a fucking escort service, for God's sakes. You fucked your children over, your legacy. Your grandchildren will know what you did. Everybody in the community talks about it. It's an open secret. It's crazy. But everybody in this town will tell you that I'm the crazy one. You imploded your family for some ass. Yeah, I'm so triggered being here. I haven't been able to eat. I've barely been sleeping. You know, it was the perfect storm for him because, I mean, you know, and you can tell with these types of sexual predators or narcissists, if you've ever dealt with an actual narcissist, that'll kick you out on the street and then ask you back in the house, and then kick you out on the street and then ask you back in the house, and then make a business agreement with you. You give them money and then they shit you on that, and then they ask you back. If you've ever met a true narcissist that plays games with your life like that, they're taking your property, they're interfering with your job, they're interfering with your social media. We read some stuff today, you know, that list, but like, those are the most dangerous types of people out here. Seriously. They do not care. They actually want their actions to impact your life. And like we were reading about, that reactive abuse, narcissists will intentionally antagonize you, disrespect your time, disrespect your money, not plan. They'll intentionally not plan to cause you be late, or they'll play these manipulative mind games just so it sets you off so that they can stand back and say, oh, see, you're the problem. Called reactive abuse. We were learning about that today. I did not know there was a name for that, but that's exactly what I've been through for over 20 years. And when I'm talking about that reactive abuse, that is sometimes that type of scenario can happen 2 or 3 times in a week, which completely offsets your thinking, your focus, what you're set on doing. You know, when you wake up and you got a narcissist starting shit with you at fucking 5 a.m. first thing, that throws off your whole day, homie, you can't get nothing done. You're not even screwed right. You're not even wired right. You ain't even brushed your teeth. You ain't even had a cup of coffee or took a piss. Can I have a biscuit before you start trying to do your psychological combat first thing in the morning? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You're on their time. Y'all argue when they want to. It's crazy. It really is. I would go through that if I had to stay here. I would go through that 2 or 3 times a week. I would never be right. I'd never be able to push out content. It'd just be a spiraling mess. Look at the past 4 days. Look at Brooke out there in the streets handling life and just, oh, okay, well, I got banned. Oh, well. Look at me out there homeless and fucking happy most of the time. And then look at the past fucking week. I don't know. I really, it's like the more I try to find stability in my life, the worse things get. And it's been like that since I got clean. Codependency, feeling, when I came here, I had no one. When I was a juvenile and I met him, I had no one. I didn't have my mom, my dad, my grandma, brothers, nobody. I have literally been on my own, and for a lot of people who have family, they can't conceptualize that. And they probably assume that there's programs and listen, I'm here to tell you that's not the real world. When people don't have people, they just ain't got people. No one has them. They more than likely have everyone, though. This is the home that raised me, the farm that raised me. This was a chapter in my life that has been behind me for over 2 years now. And losing my truck and dealing with all of the constant stalking, harassment, the police, the trolls, everything that I've had to deal with, it's only pushed me back into this situation. And I can't be here. I physically will die here. Like, I will end up dead here. So this is not an option. I already knew that, which is why I left initially 2 years ago and moved in my truck. And that's not the first time I've left. I went and got my own place when I had my daughter. The government come and framed me for child abuse and stole my kid. Then I had another place over in Kernersville that I was at for like 5 or 6 years, the big house. I've tried to leave and get out of this situation, but with my vehicle and other things being tied to his name, that's what they do. They want to put shit in their name for you because that's the way that they can hold on to you. It's crazy. There's been several times that I left and then other people's actions directly impacted my life in such a way that it led me having to come back into this situation over and over and over, and just like this time. I mean, really though, is it better to get psychologically tortured every day, have to do drugs just to deal with a person and to deal with your situation, or is it better to risk getting frostbite and starving to death? Because I'm thinking, I think I'm better off the land. I think I'm better in the woods. Call me crazy. I've been through so much. I've experienced normal. I've seen for the first time in my life a normal family that don't abuse each other, a father that treats his daughter like he's supposed to. I've seen normal. The past 5 years I've been sober, I've sought out normal. I had never witnessed that in my entire life. I was so used to trauma and toxic, I thought that was normal, and I settled for that in a sense. by allowing myself to keep coming back here. This is the only family I've ever had. That's codependency. That's what codependency is. You know someone's bad for you, but you also love that person and you care about that person. And that's the only family you ever fucking had. You know? Thank you. Oh, thank you so much, Charlie Cloud. Charlie. I love that name. Charlie. I love that. Thank you so much. Charlie said, I'm so sorry. Oh, don't worry about it. Thank you. They said, Jesus wants me to give you this. The world is a broken place. We need Jesus. Jesus loves you. Stay strong. Jesus is the one that's brought me to this point. Thank you so much. Seriously. After I got clean and stuff, like, I knew I had to get out of here, and I moved to Charlotte. And then in 2021, the economy got so bad. My job in Charlotte, I mean, when your income is directly impacted by everybody else's income, it took a nosedive. Then and then I lost my construction job. And before I knew it, I couldn't stay afloat financially when your rent is, $1,000 a month or more. And I was actually sharing a house with another couple. So which is weird for me because I'm like 30 something years old. Like, damn, I can't walk around in my muscle tee without my bra on. Like Tammy. No. Yeah, I couldn't stay afloat. So I had to come back here, and I started this channel. I got all these little side jobs and things were going good. And then I really started diving in to how I felt about this relationship, because it's always felt so one-sided. There was a point where I was like devoted to being here and taking care of this person. I wanted to do that because they need the help. But the blatant disrespect and, you just can't. It's crazy what codependency will get you wrapped up in. It's crazy how codependency will make your love for somebody will make you put yourself in a bad situation. And you don't even think about the long term. You're not even thinking about your future. And neither are they if they're a narcissist. And I actually said that the other day. I was like, you literally have a home and all of this stuff, and all you do is just take. Like, I mean, I can't believe it. I mean, still, I look back and I'm like, why? It's crazy. It's crazy. I cannot be here. I cannot be around this person. I do not want to be here. I do not want to be around this person. I really thought that I could try to separate myself and gaslight myself by buying a new chair. Absolutely not. When I heard that fucking tractor going by, I was just like, I'm fucking done. I'm so done. Like, and y'all are not gonna, some of y'all might understand, if you've ever dealt with a narcissist that wants to, what they really want to do is implement, they want others to know that they are tied to you in some way. So they play small games to showcase control or power over your life. I think part of the reason that a lot of victims get stuck in this situation too is because they don't quite understand it. I've tried to make sense of a lot of things over the years, 2 decades, and the reality is there's only a few honest explanations, as long as if it's not coming out of that person's mouth. They do. They want to be. That's what I was saying. So, like, let me tell you. Last week, his ex-wife was down the road. He's like, oh, you got to keep the barn doors closed. That's why I couldn't fucking breathe, fam. This son of a bitch is going to kill me. I couldn't breathe because he told me to shut the barn doors. This is what I'm... Ladies, baby squirrel. Let me tell you what, baby girl. If you ever get in the car as a passenger and some guy is driving like a bat out of hell with you in the passenger seat and he has complete disregard for your life on the freeway, in traffic, make your way safely back to your car and never talk to that person again. These things matter. That is a complete disregard for your life and traffic laws and law enforcement. He told me to shut the barn doors. That's why I was about to suffocate in there, because his ex-wife down there, she can't hear me on live. He doesn't want her to know I'm on the property. Remember, I got trespassed. These fucking games. I am exhausted. Do you hear me? Ain't nobody got time for this shit. I'd rather go starve in the bush. I'd rather go starve in the bush. And I am. I'm waiting for the sun to go down. See how cold it's going to be. See what I need to wear. I'm stressed the fuck out. My head hurts. I ain't been eating. I need to eat before I leave. Something. I don't know what. I'm not even joking. Like, so he's like, oh, you need to shut the door. So it's all secret for the past 7 days. I've been waiting on my hand, right? I'm all a secret. So because you lie to your ex-wife that you're not even married to, and because she hates me when she don't even know me and never even has really met me, she's never met me, I have to hide. Bro, I'm so sick of adults acting like fucking toddlers. These are fucking boomers. These people are 70, almost 80 years old. This is so stupid. Why am I the adult in this situation? What is, like, really? So then she takes off, and she's been gone for days. And now I said, I'm going to work, and I'm out there on live with you guys, and y'all heard it in the background. That is all intentional. That is all intentional. I can sit here and I can write content. I can study a case, and then I can go out there and start. I can put on makeup, put on my cutest little dress, put makeup on, go out there with my cup of coffee. I done did 6, 7, 8 hours of hard work. Go out there to film. And sure enough, like clockwork, he'll be out there with something running, chainsaw, cutting the trees down. It's intentional to get a reaction and to take my time away from filming and to put time on him, even if it's me just bitching about him interrupting me. They feed off of any energy. Narcissists feed off of any energy. A good way to tell if you're dealing with a narcissist is to get upset, to express your feelings. If they are not bothered by your anger and take that into account, then they're clearly playing games with you. They are loving the attention that you're giving them. Like, it's crazy. I'm not dealing with it. I don't feel bad for this person at all. This person owes me so much money. They have my land, my home, my property. You know, I've lost everything because of their actions. They kicked me out of my house after I gave them money. We had an agreement. And you want to kick me out because you're mad that I got clean and I'm off on my own little journey now? Like, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm not your girlfriend. I never was. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be working towards a better tomorrow for myself. It's crazy. It really is made me really sick for the past 4 or 5 days, particularly. Past 4 or 5 days, it's been really bad. I mean, I'm so on edge because of the lack of respect. I can't have stability and normalcy. People see the building and they think that that's stability and normalcy. What you're not seeing behind the scenes is the 10 or 15 hours of psychological torture and the hoops I have to jump through and the gaslighting I have to go through and the energy vampire sucking the energy out of me. From the outside, it looks like somebody's trying to help me by giving me a building. I can assure you that is not the fucking case. And let me just remind you that I already have CPTSD from this person. That is on paper. She said, your current bout of PTSD came from betrayal trauma. I said, oh, really? Like my life savings being stole, my land, my tiny house? All... You don't fucking say. My own fucking family fucking me over. Taking my money, promising to sell me something and not holding up their end of the bargain. Wow. And then at the same very fucking time, they file an eviction on me and kick me out in the streets to become homeless. And then I'm like, oh, well, this ain't the first time. And she's like, what? And I'm like, no. And I start dropping dates. And she's like, bro, this is not PTSD. This is CPTSD. I'm like, well, Is it bad? Can you fix it? Is there a pill for that? Matter of fact, no, I don't want your damn pills. That's the problem with the world. I don't want your pills. But no, I'm so grateful to my therapist Stephanie, and the clinical, like, yo, shit's wild. I was like, no way. You don't say. You know, and then I look back at little things like when I gave birth to my children. Who was there for me? You expect your family to be there for you, right? If I need to go buy drugs, you're there for me. But I'm giving birth alone in a hospital to my daughter. Nobody there. You know, I guess you grow up and you start looking back at shit like that and you realize the inconsistencies, how people haven't been there for you, but you've been there for them. There's a lot of opportunities. My family should have been there for me. You know, part of codependency and trauma bonding is going through traumatic events over long periods of time. That actually makes it much harder for the victim to leave this type of situation, whether it's sex trafficking, whether it's domestic violence, whatever. Whether, you know, it's a family member trying to get away from another family member that does drugs. The longer these people are tied together, you're tied to the person that's subjecting you to the abuse, the harder it's going to be to get yourself out of there. Because what happens over years of times, periods of time, is that because you guys are around each other so much, y'all are going to each be going through your own traumatic events potentially. And if that happens, then you're going to be trauma bonded together, which makes the codependency even worse. Okay. When my daughter fell and broke her arm and I was charged with child abuse, I was sober, functioning, and stable with my own home, own vehicle. I had my shit together. When that happened and they took her from me, my abuser was there for the whole situation. And matter of fact, he would go with me to my meetings to CPS and defend me because he knew that I hadn't harmed my daughter, and he had actually saw me with my daughter. There was, yeah, and I really don't want to go into it, but that's one of the things that I guess after they stole her pushed me back into this situation. Because when I had my daughter, I actually left this situation, got my own place, got my shit together a little more. I wasn't perfect. I was still struggling. I was still a single mother. I was also still young. So I got away. But then that event with the government pushed me right back into this situation. I ended up getting back on drugs. And then after a few years, I got clean. That was 5 years ago. I got clean 5 years ago. And from the moment I got clean, I knew I had to get out of here. I knew that this was why I was using drugs. And this is where the drugs started. I've done more drugs in this fucking place than anywhere else on earth. I've probably done more drugs in this fucking place than I ever done combined anywhere else. It's crazy. That wall over here used to be splattered with heroin. And the whole wall was just covered. When I left out of here, I had to wash the walls, get all the heroin residue off of it. How sad. And you know, I could have stayed like that till he died. That would have made him so happy. I could have just been the trailer token, the trailer park token queen, and been content just being just a little sex slave. But I got clean. And my first plan was to get the hell out of here, and that's exactly what I did. And it really sucks that I've had to continually come back here. The codependency, the trauma bonding, all of that makes a victim not only stay, but go back into these situations. He was happy for me to lose my truck because he was hoping that that would lead to me moving back in. And as I've stated before, I don't want to be living in here. I don't want to be here. That's why I was like, you know, I'll go out there. But it's gotten to the point to where when you're dealing with a narcissist, you are wasting your fucking breath. You're wasting your breath. You're wasting your breath. You can't compromise with them. You can't, you can't. You're wasting your breath. Just don't even try. Once you realize that you are dealing with a narcissist, you need to get your shit, you need to go. And you need to focus on you, and you need to stay away from that person indefinitely, because putting yourself back in this situation, as you can see, it is not good for you, okay? I ain't even been here that long, and my fucking psyche is already so re-injured. I'm just like, when will I be able to get back on track? Part of controlling your emotions is having a baseline and how long it takes you to get back to a baseline. But with me constantly being subjected to more trauma after more trauma, you've seen it on this channel if you've been here from the start. I can't find my baseline when every day I am like literally trying to survive, I know it sounds extreme to say that people are literally trying to kill me, but what do you call it when they like lock you up for crimes that you didn't commit, and then also starve you out by banning you from every business in the county so that you can't even buy groceries? You think they want the best for me by doing all of that, or you think they also trying to kill me? Because I think they're trying to kill me. I know it sounds extreme, but think about the long term, what it means going forward, how those actions directly impact my life. And then it makes sense. Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. There's 2 grocery stores and they banned you from both because of shit that wasn't even your fault. It's on camera. It really wasn't. I wish I could say I did something wrong. What did I just do? I just said I bought a 12-pack and I drank that bitch in like 3 or 4 days. I have a conscience. That's why that's why I'm a bitch. That's where my confidence comes from. If you really want to know my identity, I know it's wrong to drink. I don't want to be drinking. But I'm being for real. I was barred from Walmart and Food Line, and it was not my fault. It had to do with people calling Walmart and lying from the internet. At this point, I'm 10 toes down. This is my career now. People need to accept it, and I don't know. I'm sorry if it makes you uncomfortable that I'm too forthcoming, I'm too honest, I'm blunt, I'm a bitch, whatever. I really think that if that's the case, then you need to address why you're uncomfortable. That says more about you than me. This is real life. What I've lived through, what I've had to do to survive, this is real life. And it's crazy because I think most people would think that a lot of the stuff that I talk about only happens in like 3rd world countries, but we're starting to see in 2025 that's not necessarily true, because look at Epstein, look at all the sex trafficking rings that are being busted, look at all the children that are being rescued. At some point, you need to realize that on some level, in my opinion, the government perpetuates and facilitates this shit, and they have for many generations. I do not think that it's a coincidence that the government, who runs child protective services and the foster care industry, I do not think that it's a coincidence that most foster women end up in sex work. How ironic for all the rich politicians to buy. It's the systems that have been built. It's the way it is. If it offends you, if it bothers you, then I'm sorry you're soft. I hope you never have to go through what the women I've met through the foster care system, the Department of Corrections, and sex work. I've met some of the most broken, tortured, but also kind and wonderful women, and it's just so frustrating the way that society views these women. I don't give a fuck. Maybe that's why. Whew, I just got chill bumps. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why I go through this. Maybe that's why I'm living through this. Listen, I know that this is part of God's plan. That's why I'm like, well, why is this God's plan? Like, I'm okay with this being my plan, but like, can you tell me why? Like, what's at the end of the tunnel? Can I get a small silver lining? before I get there. Like, I know this is God's plan, but most victims or most women that have been subjected to not only abuse, but also that have to work in sex work, there's so much shame and guilt. And I have none of that. So maybe God put this on me because he knows they ain't going to be able to victim blame me, honey. Ever, ever, ever. Ever. Started with my parents, then I was passed off to the government, and then this person. You know, so I haven't really had a lot of control over my life, especially as a juvenile, and then even as a juvenile into my tweens. I didn't even really grow up until about 30, 32. Like, that's when I started, like, oh, what's going on out here? You know, that's like around the time I got clean, and I really kind of like, about 32, started to mature, which is actually right on par with stats. Most women start to mature around 32, or they do mature by 32. So I kind of woke up, and that was around the same time I got clean. And I don't know, man. I ain't never been the same. I don't know if it's the Holy Spirit or if it's the anger that I have, the disgust that I have for society, and the anger of how society treats people. Like, I did not, you know, I know I was on drugs, but I never really realized how heartless people are, how soulless and heartless humanity is. Like, there is such a lack of compassion and empathy, and I think that it stems from a lack of intelligence and uncomfortability. What a crazy day. I think it's going to be around 65 degrees tonight, so I don't know, man. I really thought that I could, like, fake the funk. I really did. Somebody said fake it till you make it. I said, yeah, I'm out here trying. That's what I was talking about. Because I've been holding this shit in for like a week. I just, it's so blatant, you know. Like, I'll try to schedule my work schedule. I'll be like, hey, I work every day. I gotta get a car so I can get out of here and make a life for myself. um, I'll be like, hey, is it gonna be quiet so I can film? Oh, yeah. As soon as I start filming, 20 minutes into, not even, it'll be 10 minutes into filming, it's something running, usually around the house. You know, it's so blatant that I'm actually surprised it took me 20 years to pick up on this shit. Listen, I'm learning a lot. I've learned a lot this week. But it's so blatant, the disrespect and the game plan and the manipulation and the petty behavior. It's so blatant that you would have to be on drugs not to know that this fucker is a narcissist. Seriously. They will go out of their way to inconvenience your life just to do it. And if it has anything to do with maybe you having a career or building your finances or anything that might actually make your life more productive, they're going to do everything in their power to prevent you from doing that. Yeah, it's so fucking blatant. I'm just like, are we for real right now? And you know, also for like the first 4 or 5 days, I'm like, okay, well, I know what he's doing now. I understand. And I even said to him, I understand you're lonely. I understand you're getting old. I understand you love my companionship. You like to sit and watch Jeopardy. I do too. I actually love Jeopardy. And see, it's stuff like that. And see, this really shows you some psychology behind it, because think about this. Some of my favorite pastimes is just sitting there watching Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. Who does that? And who do you do that with? Your fucking grandma, your mama, your papa. Let's be for real right now. Sitting there watching Andy Griffin and damn Bonanza. And I said, I know you're lonely. I know you need companionship. Not that that's my responsibility. That's not my fucking responsibility. I'm not your fucking girlfriend. I'm not your fucking Labrador. You got a dog. You got a wife. You got a family. You got kids that are grown, but you got grandkids. I mean, you know? It's like, so fucking suffocating, bro. So I try to have this conversation. I try to communicate. I try to express myself when I, like 5-6 days ago. And it's been slowly, one by one. Like I said, I started changing me. And this is what you don't do. I started changing me. I started changing when I slept, when I ate, everything, the way I do things, when I film. Trying to accommodate someone who has very low responsibilities in life right now. You know, you're a fucking boomer, retired with millions of dollars, multiple properties. Why are you still trying to take from someone who you met homeless, who is still fucking homeless? And you keep saying you want to help her. Well, at what point in the past 22 years were you planning on doing that? It's absolutely crazy. You know, and another thing, he absolutely gets off on the fact that I am bothered by this, you know, and they do. They get pleasure out of your pain. He's absolutely getting his rocks off, you know, and it's crazy. It's sickening that someone who took everything from me would sit here and play with my future, play with my feelings, play with my emotion, play with my freedom. Yeah, that's what he fucking said the other day. He's like, oh, Barbara can't find out you're here because she'll call Joey and then Joey will come back and arrest you. I said, arrest me? I said, this ain't even her fucking property. I said, this is your property. And he's like, well, yeah, you can be on my property, but, and then he's like backtracking. I've never even been, I have been down to her property, but that's when he invited me down there. But like, I don't go down there. So the only property that we would be talking about is the one I'm standing on right now. And he made the comment, oh, Barbara, call the law. So if I go to jail for trespassing, that won't happen because I'm leaving. That's why I'm leaving. How am I supposed to fucking sleep when I got to worry about somebody fucking calling the law and making more false allegations against me? People don't understand. I ain't been able to fucking sleep in through 3 months anyways. What does it matter? At this point, I've just realized that I'm never going to get sleep because I'm homeless. And then this morning, he's like, oh, did you get everything moved in? No, I didn't. Sure didn't. Grabbed a mattress. About to take that back to fucking storage. Absolutely not. I'm not going through this again. This is psychological torture on a whole nother fucking level that people can never understand. I haven't had an ounce of privacy. I haven't had a normal life. I haven't had a normal relationship. I haven't had a relationship with my children. I haven't had anything. Because I've been a hostage for over 20 years. And this town, these people, the sheriff's department, they have pushed me back into this situation time and time again. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm so done. So done. So I started packing my bag. I'm not going to be able to take many clothes. I need to charge a bunch of stuff. That's what I've been doing, is charging all these battery packs. It's crazy. You know, people say that they want to help you and then they fucking do everything in their power to hurt you. Listen, I'm to a point in life where actions don't match up with words. I'm out the door, homie. If you've already shown me once that you have a propensity to let your feelings try to fuck my future up, I am so done. I can't believe I'm about to take another magnesium. I've been popping magnesium like damn. Xanax. Let me charge this one. People don't understand there's something that comes with taking time for yourself that you really can't put into words. I guess solitude is a good start, but it's more than that. Serenity, peace. I don't know. Hold on. Damn it. What the hell, Bobby? What the helly? There we go. Okay. Yeah, there's something that happens when you take time to yourself and you step away from society and what the world tells you should do or should be, or how you should act, or what you should be up to, or when you really break away from everyone and everything. Come on, buddy. Come on. You can't be in there depressed all day. Come on. You're a dog. You're supposed to be outside. You turd. Come on. Come on. You can't be in here depressed. No, you're not staying in here depressed. Come on. Come on. If you come outside and play, I'll give you a treat. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Damn, tree a squirrel or something. Go tree a squirrel. Go tree a squirrel. Yeah, there's something about breaking away from everything that you just kind of like, you see through it all. You start to see through all the bullshit. Every bit of it. I'm to a point I don't believe shit that comes out of anybody's mouth. Where's my camera stand? I don't know. Come on! Yeah, I'm upset about the chair, but whatever. I don't really care. I literally am just so spread thin. It's like I put in all my energy into trying to have these real conversations, you know. I'm like trying to express myself properly and communicate properly, and you're wasting your breath. There's no reason to do any of that with a narcissist. It's the same shit I've been doing for 20 years. Trying to beg someone to respect you is crazy. Especially when they tell you that they care about you and they have your best interest at heart and they love you and they'll always be there for you. And then do the opposite. And I knew this. But I've been left with no choice. What am I supposed to do? There are no women's shelter. There is nowhere for me to go. What am I supposed to do? There is no options, you know? And this is the reality of real life, and a lot of people will never go through this, and I hope not, but oh, thank you, Fairchild. Absolutely, that's what, yo, and why do they seem like why do they act like they don't know what the hell you're talking about? Why do they play dumb and I know why, hold on. Retinol, at the very least. At the very least, I'm going to shower before I leave. I actually read something. Hold on, here it is. No. I read something about narcissists. I forgot. About how they play dumb. I read something about how they play dumb. Hold on, let me see if I can find it, because it was so fucking interesting. And this is something that I've been through for since the beginning. Always playing dumb. Why they play dumb? You literally stalk my fucking channel and then you get in my face and act like everything's all. People are crazy. Why do narcissists play dumb? Hear that guy up there in the plane? So this is what it was. It says that they play dumb as a manipulative tactic to avoid accountability, maintaining power, and gaslighting their victims by By forging confusion and ignorance, they can deflect blame and frustrate those who confront them, making it difficult to address their harmful behavior. And as it just so happens, anytime I try to have a normal conversation, it turns into a big argument because there's name calling. He'll start calling me names. Today, I said, "Are you able to have a normal conversation?" And he's like, "I am, but you're not because you're not normal." And I was like, "Oh, okay, this is what we're doing." And I cut my phone off. So, yeah, it's literally like dealing with a toddler when you're trying to have a conversation with a narcissist. It's like pulling teeth. Like they're literally incapable of communicating and trying to work through problems. The way they work through problems is trying to harm you and getting you to behave and comply to their wants and needs. It's crazy. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been crazy. My dog. Hey, buddy, what you doing? What you doing? What you doing? Yeah, I feel so fucking drained. It's crazy. Like, I got access to a shower, access to a kitchen. I can cook anything I want. And I am so triggered. My PTSD is so bad, I can't even eat. Go lay down on my bed. I got my bed in there. I can go lay down on my bed. Can't sleep. Too triggered. That's what CPTSD does. These triggers cause mania, all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's crazy. Putting yourself back in this situation is not good. Yeah, it is nice in here. It'll stay. I can't take that. I ain't got. The only thing I'll be able to take is my book bag. I am gonna take a shower, and I am gonna get clothes for tonight, and I guess a change of clothes for the daytime. I mean, what is the weather supposed to be the next? It's supposed to rain the next 2 days. That sucks. Well, partner, I don't know what to say. What am I supposed to do about it? Oh no, no, Saturday. Oh yeah, that's tomorrow. When? Tomorrow, all tomorrow afternoon. You know, they create this system. So back to what I was saying about how they'll kick you out and then invite you back in and then kick you out and invite you back in. That is to put you in your place. That is to put you in your place, right? Okay, that's to subject more power and control over your life. They act all nice when they want you to come back or they're offering you help. They'll act nice, right? But it's all an illusion. It'll only take less than a week for their true colors to start shining through. The blatant disrespect, the playing mind games, the disrespecting your time, your money, your space, your wishes. You know, I'm not a morning person. I've made that very clear for over 20 years. And despite that, you know, people just don't respect that. They don't. Specifically, you know, narcissists, they're not going to respect your time. Matter of fact, they might use it as an opportunity just to get a reaction out of you and to piss you off and to ruin your day because it makes them feel good about the fact that they can control your day. Or they can control your eating habits, or they can control your sleeping habits because they know that they trigger you. Some sick shit. Do you know how evil you have to be to toy with people like that? Makes me sick, y'all. I know a lot of people go through it. I don't way too much lip gloss. You know, another thing that sucks is like, even since I started this channel, it's been one thing after another, you know, and like we moved in the truck and then my AC broke and then the headlight, $600, remember? It was just always something. It feels like I can't get ahead in life because I'm always starting over in life. Like, for instance, I've done spent money on this paint, this chair, you know? I did that because I thought that I could film here and deal with it, but honestly, I cannot deal with it. I'm literally at my wit's end. I'm glad I'm not a firearm owner. That's how bad it is. I cannot breathe. You can care about somebody and love somebody and at the same time realize that that person is not a good person. And you should absolutely distance yourself from that person. Because if you don't, they'll become a cancer in your life. And then you won't have a nice life because they've been a cancer on you. Some people will try to attach themselves to you in life, and they will be a cancer to your life. You don't need everybody's help. Not all that glitters is gold, honey. You know? I've been through absolute hell this past week, and and actually it's been a little over a week because she left, and it's been about a week, 8 days. And I'm literally just spiraling, you know? The alcohol, and it wasn't even bad. We had a couple of beers, but still, it's this situation. I'm not working out, I'm not eating, I'm not getting good sleep, I'm not even taking care of myself anymore. It's being in this environment. I don't know, it poisons you. I don't know about you, but I don't thrive on games. I don't play games at all. What I say is what I mean, and if I'm loyal to you, I would never put you or your future or your happiness in jeopardy. It's crazy. I don't care if you even piss me off. I'm not going to be out here playing with you like that. It's crazy. I guess there's two types of people in the world, huh? I'm going to run, y'all. I really needed to vent because what I'm going through is not normal, and I'm actually surprised that I'm holding it together this well. You know, this is called, being in this environment for the past 20 years has caused me more mental health problems than anything I've ever been subjected to. By far. By far. And that's documented. I don't know how anybody could say that this was a better place for me than maybe a shelter, or I don't know. I just know that that's what they said. What, buddy? It's not good at all. I'm gonna go finish packing and showering and stuff, and yeah, I guess we're gonna take off. My hand is not completely healed. I don't know how well it's gonna do on the bike. That's really the only thing I'm worried about, other than being cold, because I won't have a sleeping bag or any kind of way to have a sleeping bag. So, there's nowhere to store a sleeping bag. Where are you gonna store it? I have a sleeping bag, but where am I gonna store it? That's the problem. There's nowhere to keep things like that. So, I don't know. My best option is dark clothes that I can hide and bury without anybody seeing. That bright, y'all saw that sleeping bag, right? It's like a bright neon green. You're gonna be able to see that thing from like 4 football fields away. Like an ant over there in the field. There's nowhere to keep it. So clothes are my best option. It's supposed to be 65 degrees tonight, which is not the lowest that it has been. It's supposed to dip down in the 40s and 50s. It is what it is. It is what it is. If I get no sleep at night because I'm up, you know, I mean, it gets, so that's the thing. It gets so freaking cold that you literally physically hurt. It hurts down to the bones. It hurts down to the bones. So, I don't know. I don't know. I can't worry about it. I can't worry about that. See, and that's the thing. I need to point that out. That's irrelevant. Where I'm going to sleep, how I'm going to stay warm, how I'm going to get food, that is irrelevant. The most important thing is getting myself out of this situation so that I'm not constantly re-traumatized, because there can come a point where you go into psychosis. There can come a point where you drift away and never come back. And I've almost been there. I almost went there in 2023. All of that's recorded. I actually checked myself into a mental hospital. And yeah, that was crazy. I was this close from slipping away completely from reality because of the trauma that I've been subjected to for over 20 years. It's crazy how trauma impacts and affects the brain. I need to be focused on getting out of here so that I'm not constantly being re-traumatized psychologically, you know? These people are absolutely insane, by the way. This whole scenario, the ex-wife and the husband, and like, what in the situationship is going on with these people? It's always been like that too. It's so weird. It's like she's jealous of me, and like, listen, it's weird. I think I have a pretty good idea. I think that he's in love with me and she's in love with him, and let me just be clear, I'm the child in this scenario. In this weird mix-up, I'm the child. These people are 70, 80 years old. You think I was the first person that they wrapped up into some bullshit here on this property? Absolutely not. There's probably police reports on it. This was going on for decades. Damn weird people. Got this bitch over here mad at me and I ain't even met her. In 20 years, never had a conversation. I mean, she's cussed me out a few times. Of course. I'm the other woman, of course, right? Oh, the audacity. Bitch, I don't want your man. I don't want none of your men. I've been saying that from the start. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. You should have stepped up as a woman, as a first responder. You should have stepped up at the very least and, I don't know, maybe been a human. But no, people operate on feelings and not facts. So I'm just telling you, my husband wouldn't have brought no strays home anyways, because he would have been down, I don't know, going to the crematory. I gotta go. I want to eat some food and try to feel better. Thank y'all for being so kind. I just want to be honest about what I've been going through, because I'm literally melting down. And yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So riddle me this. Remember when I got kicked off this property back in 2023 and I had to move into my truck? Remember he said that I was a bad guy, that I was mean, that I yelled. Reactive abuse. That's because he would constantly cross boundaries. I'm not a morning person, but yet here he is in my face knocking on my door. Good morning at 5 a.m. They'll always do shit like that. And then they do that and they're like, oh, you're the bad guy. So remember that? Well, remember everybody's like, oh, she was a freeloader, blah, blah, blah. First of all, he's freeloaded off of me way more than I ever thought about freeloading off of him. He don't even buy groceries. Why would he let me come back? If I'm not the victim and I'm the bad guy, then why would he let me come back? Why does he want me here? Why is he all in my face? Why is he stealing my energy? I'm so sick of the victim blaming. It's not gonna happen over here. Not gonna happen. I definitely gotta get out of here before I damn die. Seriously. You know, you would have thought that the damn 12 pack of damn Corona and Modelo would have been my. You thought I'd drive by red flags. I drank that beer. I was like, oh, well, this is life now. I'm just gonna deal with this. And and then it didn't even dawn on me like that. That's me reacting to my environment. The want to drink alcohol is me falling back into old behavioral patterns. The me wanting to reach for the bottle to make me feel better in the situation. That's addiction. And these things go hand in hand. These things go hand in hand. These types of situations and addictions go hand in hand. But that was a red flag for me, drinking. And then today, I finally, like, it dawned on me. I was like, wait a second, I've been having triggers all week. I've actually been, every day I've had a problem. Like, every day, me personally, my behavior has showcased that I'm being re-traumatized. And I out of the desperate need not to freeze to death and eat, I was trying to fake it till I make it and just deal with it, you know, and make the best of the situation. But the truth is, this is not stable. It never has been. If it was going to be stable, it would have been fucking stable somewhere along the 22 years that I've been here. He offered me help, right? Okay. Well, it's been over 20 years. I received no help. I become a felon. I become a drug addict. I lost both of my kids. I went to prison. And now I'm homeless. How did that help work out for me? How did that help work out for me? I knew this, which is why I moved into my truck to get out of this situation. And then the internet got me fired. And then the internet got my truck repossessed. And then the internet called and lied and had me arrested for more crimes I didn't fucking commit. Planet Fitness and then the guy from the internet. I'm curious as to how all of this is my fault. Once again, I did the right things. When I got clean, I got the fuck up out of here. And I tried to focus on staying out of here. You know? And here we are, right back in the same situation, if not worse, with no car. No, I ain't even got credit now or a job. Well, I mean, I have a job, but like, not, this paycheck ain't good enough to finance a car. I make less than $1,000 a month. You need $1,000 a month just to finance a car. A fucking Kia will run you damn $700 a month. So here we are, starting all over again. Yeah, absolutely insane. Yeah, I'm gonna run. Definitely probably should go eat. Y'all be safe, and yeah, thank y'all for the positive words. I'm gonna try to eat and take a shower and pack my bag for the night and make a plan. Well, he got his building painted. That's what I told him. I said, I painted your building. You can rent it out or something. I'm not sticking around. Like, he does not get it. Does not get it. You know, I think that coming back into this situation and spending, you know, a week or so around him has taught me that I made not only the right decision, but I understand why so many women are literally like homeless and losing their minds on the corners. Like that's gonna be me. I mean, I ain't gonna be losing my mind, but I mean, I am homeless, and like, you're better off not risking going insane. And not only, listen, I don't know about you, but I've been through so much trauma that I fight. So when people, you know, do this evil stuff, it could put you in a bad situation where you go to prison. This ain't no game. People like this, narcissists like this, they don't give a fuck. They would love to have you in prison. They would love to have you in prison, and they know where you are at all times. This was my first original stalker. You know what's crazy though? Dealing with this is going to help me with this. This was my first original stalker. I've never had privacy. I've never had a life. I've never had anything. Can't even throw trash away without somebody reading it. Yeah, this is no life. This is crazy. This is a person that clearly has been obsessed with me for years, and the fact that I do not reciprocate this perversion, it definitely puts me in danger. It puts me in danger. It makes them unsafe. And they've already proven to be unsafe. What am I talking about? This person sued me, kicked me out in the streets in the cold, stole my money, used my body, bought me drugs, kept me full of drugs for decades. This is not a normal person. I'm telling y'all, this is one of the worst, probably the worst sexual predator that I'll ever meet. And I plan to meet quite a few in my career. There, you know, sex crimes is expanding. People don't understand it. I understand it better than anybody. I think it took me a while to get here, and I think there's a reason that I've been going through this hell for the past week or so. Just putting myself back into this situation, I've learned so much about the way that his mind operates and the way that he does things and the way that he was able to hold me hostage psychologically for so many freaking years. This is not love. This is codependency, and this is dangerous. I love you guys. I'm going to go try to eat and shower. Bye. Thank y'all for being positive.